All right, so the data quality service is a service that analyzes uploaded times table data on BODS for data quality issues that fall outside of the Trans Exchange data standards to support publication of high quality data on BODS. So when a user logs onto BODS to upload their times table data, it will first check that data against the Trans Exchange 2.4 schema, which is the industry standard for exchanging bus timetables information. And then it also checks it against the Trans Exchange PTI profile, which is an extension to the schema to make the data BODS compliant. So that's what happens when you see this screen over here. So once that's done and it meets the minimum requirements to make the data BODS compliant and able to be published to BODS, it will then complete the data quality checks. So the data quality service will begin performing the checks against various different areas, which we'll go through in the next slide. But once done, it will provide you with details of any data quality issues for investigation, as you can see on the screenshot on the right, which I'm sure many on this call are familiar with who are regular publishers on BODS. So I'll go through what this report looks like in a short while, but first we'll just provide some context on some of the data quality checks that are performed by the data quality service. So I'll go on to the next slide. So the data quality checks are categorized into critical and advisory observations. The critical data quality observations are definitive issues in the data that we expect publishers to resolve, and this will affect their data quality metric. So details on all these checks are available on BODS, but I'll give a quick overview on what these are in this call. So the critical data quality checks include incorrect NOC. So this checks whether the national operator code published in your times table data matches the NOC registered to your BODS organization account. So some users may accidentally misspell their NOC, and because this is required to match your times table data to your location data in order to predict the arrival time of the bus at the stop, it's important that this is corrected. We've got the cancelled service incorrectly appearing as active check. So this checks for data published for registrations that are not registered with the registrations authority. This doesn't include unregistered services. So we often find a case where some publishers may have forgotten to remove or specify an end date of a timetable for their bus service that has been cancelled. And so these were incorrectly appearing to be running on journey planning apps. So it's trying to capture those cases. Then we have stop level checks. So this includes first stop is set down only. So this is where the first stop. Up and running. If anyone's got their microphone on, could put that on mute, that'd be great. Cool. So yeah, first stop is set down only. This is where the first stop is set to only drop off passengers at the first stop of the journey. And of course, that is a clear data quality issue because you would expect to drop off passengers on the first stop. And then similarly, we've got last stop is pick up only. So this is cases where the last stop in the journey is configured to pick up passengers, again, which doesn't make sense as a data quality issue. We've got incorrect stop type. So this checks whether the stop published in the data are one of the accepted bus stop types in NAPTAN. So this is just to ensure we're not accidentally publishing a stop which is registered for another mode of transport, such as tram or ferry, in a bus times table file. And then we have timing point issues. So this checks whether the first and last stop in a journey are set as principal timing points. And then we have journey level issues. So missing journey code. So this checks whether a journey code is present for each vehicle journey. And the importance of journey codes are to map timetables with the vehicle location data for a journey so that consumers of BODS data are able to provide predicted arrival time of a bus service at a particular stop for passengers. So that's the critical observations. And then we have the advisory checks. So this is a list of observations that suggest there may be errors in the data. However, for some types of services, they might be intended. And in those cases, they can be suppressed on your BODS UI report, which we'll go through as well. So it also includes checks that are out of the publisher's control in resolving or have special exceptions. So again, I'll briefly go through each of these. So we've got the service organization data is out of date check. So this checks for service. Well, I'll give a quick brief intro on what service organizations are. I'm sure most of you are familiar, but a service organization is a structure in the times table data that stores a set of date ranges when a service operates or does not operate. So it's often used by school services to define the school term dates. And sometimes a publisher may forget to update the school term dates with new dates. And so this check will see whether the service organization in the uploaded data has expired. We have the stop not found in NAP10 check, which simply checks whether the stop is registered in NAP10. If not, we'd expect operators to work with local authorities to get this updated on NAP10. We've got the no timing point for more than 15 minutes check. So this checks whether the time taken to get from one timing point to the next timing point is no more than 15 minutes. The traffic commissioner suggests that these be up to 15 minutes apart. However, there are exceptions. In some cases, you physically cannot have a timing point within 15 minutes of each other with limited stop services or coach services, which is why it's an advisory check. So if it doesn't apply to your bus service, these can just be suppressed. And then we have the missing bus working number check. So most may remember this as the missing block number check, but bus working number is a code used to link journeys that are being operated by the same bus service. Again, this is important to enable journey prediction for passengers. So if the bus running the morning journey is delayed, then it will also mean the subsequent journeys being run by that bus service is also delayed. It's strongly advised that this is provided in the data. However, it's not mandated, which is why it's an advisory check. And then finally, we've got the duplicate journey code check, which identifies where a journey code is referenced more than once for that service code, line and operating profile. And so will cause issues with matching this with the location data to, again, provide predicted arrival time of a bus at a stop. So that's a quick overview of the different types of checks that we perform in regards to data quality service. So I'll move on to the next slide. So yeah, once you upload your times table data and it's generated your data quality report, this is presented in a number of ways to support the user in pinpointing the issues in the data. So in the top left, we've got interactive data quality report, which provides details of the reported observations that you can click through. We have the interactive timetable visualizer. So the critical data quality issues are embedded on the timetable visualizer. As you can see, they're highlighted in red. When you select it, it will tell you what data quality issue the timetable element has. And then we've got the downloadable CSV report. So it's just a summary of all the data quality issues in a CSV format so that this can be shared with colleagues, for example. And to bring this all to life, I'll quickly show what this looks like on the actual BODS system. So if I go onto BODS and log on, if I just go into any of my uploaded times table data, so we go here, I'll go into a draft. There we go. So once you upload your times table data as showed in that screenshot, you're provided with a summary report of your data quality issues. When you click View Data Quality Report, you're given an overview of the issues in your published times table data. And if you select, let's say, missing bus working number, it will give you an overview of the bus services within the data set which have that particular data quality issue. Here you can choose to suppress that observation. If you do that, it will affect your count of advisory observations present in your report. It just helps users to keep track of actual errors in the data that need resolving. And if you click on details, it'll give you information on the journeys which are affected by that specific data quality observation and the stop as well. So that's a quick overview of the data quality service. And if I bring back the slides, and just before we go into the Q&A, we'll just briefly talk through upcoming enhancements to the data quality service and reporting. So first, there will be updates to the services requiring attention logic to take into account services that have critical data quality issues. So those of you who joined previous refresher calls might be familiar with service requiring attention, but for those who are not, this is a metric that checks whether a bus service has been published to BODS and is up to date. And this will soon also check whether the service has no critical data quality issues. And then users will also eventually be able to see feedback that's been received on a particular service on the data quality report page as a separate tab. Yep, that's pretty much everything in terms of the data quality service.